So the purpose of the webinar today is to take you through the new features that exist in this latest version of the CRM, formerly called the Communication Center, where it's located, making sure you know how to navigate to it, and just some call out to best uses of the system as well. This is being recorded. We will provide you a copy as well as recording, so you can roll this out to your team. Let me just go over a little housekeeping as well. Everybody enters in a muted state, but we are going to have time for questions and answers. So if you look towards the bottom of your screen in the tray of Zoom, you will see that there is a Q&A with a question box that you can submit your questions, as well as we have engaged the chat feature. So please do send us any questions that you have as we're going, and we'll try to make sure we leave time for that towards the end for you all. So with that in mind, let me kick it over to Ashley, who's going to walk us through the Customer Relationship Manager.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ashley. I've been with RedSpot for almost a decade now. My pleasure to be doing this webinar for you today. As you all know, as of the 20th, we did go ahead and sunset our previous communication center, and we have implemented our new and advanced CRM. It does have many of the same features, but there are new additions as well. When you first log in, you're still going to have the same format that you are generally able to see. From the old version, you have your created, follow-up, no-show, unconfirmed, and a search feature. On the screen, you are able to customize your columns now. You're able to do a lot of filtering from here as well. To go ahead and customize your columns, you do have a column section here where you can turn items on and off. You can even drag and drop them to reorganize them to be how you see on the background here. You are also able to filter by setting the different filters depending on what items are in here as well. Everything is still the same basic flow from your created to your follow-up folders. We do also have your practice information up here. This is going to be the same as the old features. It's just more organized. You still have your directory, your procedures, providers, locations, and all of the same materials that have always been there. And you're still able to customize these based on how you need them to show for your practices. Once we go into a lead, I'm just going to use this test one here. You're able to see that we did go ahead and separate many of the items that were in our previous lead forms. So we separated the contact and the leads, so that way we are able to see all leads per contact instead of 8 or 9 different contacts. You'll be able to tell if they're data synced with your scheduling system right here. If it's blue, it will tell you that it is synced with your Nextech or your ModMed or whichever CRM that we are integrated with. Currently, this lead is not, so you can see that notification at the top. We are able to easily data sync here. You would just have to have all of your required fields. Let me just add one in here. And of course, it wants date of birth. So you add your required fields, you would just hit save. It will ask you to go ahead and data sync. And when you say yes, it will go ahead and push this over into your scheduling system for you, and it'll update and let you know that it is synced. Another new feature for the new CRM is our lead section here. So you're able to see any and every lead that a patient has ever submitted to your practice right through here. So if we add additionals, let me just throw one in here. You will be able to see when they came in, the status that they're in, and their customized lead ID right at a glance, and you can drop them down and you would be able to go ahead and enter the information needed. This is the same information that we've previously ever had in here, so we still track your campaigns based on how the lead inquiry came in, whether it be through a trackable phone number or one of your lead forms. We still have the second referral source that we do track, the status that your lead is in, the procedure, your providers, locations, if you accept their forms of insurance, and your appointment date, owner, and message. If we go in here, the neat thing about the new system, let me just put in a procedure here, is once you have a procedure, a provider, or a location, you can see that they're hyperlinked over here. So this will be able to give us a quick glance right into our practice info. by selecting View Procedure. So anything about this procedure of interest for acne, for example, it will automatically pull you to that specific section in your practice info to let you know pricing or any notes about that specific procedure. And it's the same thing with provider and location. Locations will still take you to your Google map. You are able to assign ownership to each and every lead as well. This does not lock it to a specific user, but it kind of just gives you the opportunity to know who's working it. So if I selected Miss Amy here, sorry to put you on blast, Amy, it will go ahead and it will notate that in our lead in our owner section. So if I go here, and of course it slowed down, let me go ahead and add the column for owner. I would be able to see that Miss Amy is now the owner of this lead here. If your practice is one that assigns out your leads, you're able to assign them by owner, put your filter on, and then Amy would be able to see any leads that she is specifically assigned to or she is to be working on. Going back into the lead, we still have the same statuses when you go to your change status. So you're created, contacted, scheduled, a dead lead. New thing about dead leads is we do have our reasons for loss in here. This is going to be a mandatory field when you do mark it as dead, unless it is one of the leads that you've done all of your touch points towards in the system, dead leads it due to best practices. But it will go ahead and ask you to select a reason for loss. We do track this in your new reporting as well. So you'll be able to see how many patients were dead leaded due to they were no longer interested, or maybe your office doesn't accept their insurance. So you'd be able to filter through those dead leads as well. You still have invalid for those duplicate leads or the junk leads that do come through, spam leads that we all know happen every once in a while. So we just want to make sure you mark those as invalid so that way they do not go against your reporting and we have the most accurate leads for you. Another new feature in regards to the lead format is this appointment section here. So if this patient had an upcoming appointment that had not been confirmed as of yet, you'd be able to see that appointment right here into the screen. It'll also give you a box that'll say confirm or cancel. So if you called patient RSI test, for example, and asked them if they were going to attend their appointment tomorrow at 10 a.m. and they said yes, you could just mark confirm and it will go ahead and let you confirm it directly in your next step. Let me see if I could just throw the test one on real fast so I could show what that looks like. All right, so now it's going to bump it back over here. So now you can see I have this appointment for February 25th at 9:30 a.m. I can confirm or cancel this appointment directly in this next tech. So if I click confirm, it will show confirmed in next tech, and cancel, I will cancel it and remove it from next tech, which I'm going to do for this example so that I don't take up a time. In your history, you still have all the same items as our previous communication center. There is a little bit more information in here, especially when it comes to the reminders now, just because if the patient confirmed via a reminder, you will be able to see exactly which reminder that they confirmed from, whether it be a text or an email. But you have your timeline going over every touch point, every item that has occurred with this patient's profile, any activity, meaning phone calls or emails or follow-up set. You have your past and future appointments as well. As you can see, this is the one that we just booked. Surveys, if RedSpot is sending out surveys for your practices, you'll be able to see those in here, along with any purchases, which are an open bill in your scheduling system. And payments would be any payments towards that open bill. And then you'd be able to see if the patient has opted in or out of texting right in this section. Also, you saw just a moment ago that you do have the ability to book your appointment directly in Nextech or in ModMed, depending on your practice and integration with RedSpot. So depending on the templates that you have set up for your providers and your locations and your appointment types, you are able to directly pull those right into RedSpot and integrate two systems into one. So there would be no need to ever go and pull up Nextech or ModMed in regards to certain appointment types. So as you saw a moment ago, when I just selected a location and a provider and an appointment type purpose, and I hit search, it did pull up availability for this test provider here, where I can go ahead and book those times. And when you saw me click on that time, it did go ahead and book my appointment. It did book it in our Next Tech sandbox. So it does automatically put it in real time. We also have the ability to integrate with merchant processing with ModMed Pay and NextTech Pay. We also have a third-party one called Braintree that we can integrate with as well. So that way we can start taking payments directly through RedSpot. So maybe you have a consultation fee or there's an outstanding balance. You'll be able to go ahead and charge that, and it'll directly input right into your NextTech Pay or ModMed hubs. So that way you can apply it to that patient. On the right-hand side, we do have a little bit more information, and it's easier to navigate this view from the old version. As you remember, on the bottom right-hand corner, there used to be a little purple widget that would open up the text in the email box, but now you're able to see it all at a quick glance. If we're integrated with your VoIP system, you will be able to see your inbound communications from certain phone numbers and how long they were. You would be able to see any of your disposition. So if somebody in the practice left a voicemail, as you can see when I clicked left voicemail, it's timestamped under my user ID with left voicemail. You also have a no answer in the event that they don't have an answering machine and or it's full. Texting, same abilities as the past one. You are able to send images, PNGs, and JPEGs as well. If there were templates set up, there is a section for templates that would be down here next to the attach button. So that way, if you're finding yourself sending the same text messages or same emails, we can set up templates for your team to just drop in, do a quick edit, and send them out. Emails, it's the same thing. Here's the templates button. You can drop in a template. You would just add your subject line and go ahead and send it out. The new ability here is you're actually able to send yourself a copy. So if a patient responded to reply all, you would get that reply as well as that general inbox that is set up at the time of your onboarding, which is probably an info at or an admin at box. Follow-up is still the same. If you needed to set a specific day and time to reach back out to a patient, you would be able to do that right here. And another neat feature on this screen is you have the ability to categorize this lead, and it will color code it. So a low priority turns it a grayish color. Normal would be white, and important would make this lead orange. So if I go back and I search RSI, there I am right here. See, you can see I am in orange color now. Any questions or concerns so far?
We do have a few questions that have come in. I'll go ahead and see, Ashley, if you want to answer some of those.
Yeah,
There
of
was a
course.
quick question about what you meant by dead lead best practices. I know that's not a new feature, but maybe you could just explain that one more time.
Yes, of course. So what a dead lead due to best practices would mean is that you have done all initial touch points based on the cadence of your practice that you have set up at the onboarding process. So maybe you have 3 touch points or 5 touch points to reach a patient to get them scheduled. And a touch point would be either making a telephone call and dispositioning that as a left voicemail or no answer, where the system would set your next touch point. Sending an email would count as a touch point, and the same as changing the status of a lead to a contacted state, or setting a manual follow-up, meaning you're putting it for a specific day and time. So for example, if your practice had 3 contact points to reach that patient and all 3 contact points you dispositioned left voicemail, the system would delete it due to best practices. That doesn't mean you lose that lead at all. It just removes it from view and to stop presenting to you. And if you have any drip marketing to target dead leads, they'll start funneling into those drip marketing. But if that patient does call back, for example, like a week later saying, oh no, Ashley, I'm so sorry. I missed all your phone calls. I do want to schedule. You are able to revive that back into a created state to work it back into a scheduled status.
Great, thank you. One other question looks like we had in regards to when you showed the bill. Let me see, the purchases, an open bill and purchases. The question was, where did you say what is the equivalent in the PM system of a purchase and a bill?
So purchases would be any open bills in Nextech or ModMed. And then payments would be any payments towards that. So let's say you have a $10,000 surgery and you required a $2,500 deposit to reserve that. You would see a purchase of $10,000 because that's the open bill in total. But in your payments, you would see the $2,500 because that's the deposit that they've already paid. And then as they pay towards that 10,000, you'll be able to see all the payments. Or if they purchase Botox, or if they have a membership plan, for example, for injectables or IVs, and it's on a monthly payment plan, you would be able to see that in your payments and your purchases as well. Purchases would just be the full amount, payments would just be as they add on.
Thank you. All right, looks like in this section we have one other question in regards to the merchant processing
Mhm.
or the payments at the time of appointment. Does this require setup or will it automatically recognize that we have Next Tech Pay? And I'm just going to go ahead and ask on my own and say or ModMed Pay because I'm sure we have people on this call that use both PM systems.
So as long as RedSpot is integrated with your ModMed Pay or Next Tech Pay, you'll actually be able to see this invoice section. So if you actually see invoice, that's your first sign that we're already integrated. But if you do utilize Next Tech Pay or ModMed Pay and you do not see this invoice section here, let us know. We would be more than happy to work with you and your team to go ahead and integrate that merchant processing with RedSpot so that way you're able to utilize this section. So in short, no, it's not automatic, but it is an easy integration.
Great. And I will just add on to that for the audience is it is the same setup and integration that we do for our online scheduling. So when we have clients who utilize online scheduling, they often want to either reserve with a credit card or even have a full payment taken at the time of that appointment booking online. So with our latest version of online scheduling, that is a feature. And you would just submit a ticket through your RSI system and let us know that you would like to get that set up. And then all we have to do is take it from there. We're going to ask for a couple of credentials that allow us to do that. But it is a very quick process and setup. All right. That is it right now for questions, Ashley. So I'll let you go on to the next section, but thanks for stopping and addressing those for us.
Yes, of course. So the next section I want to show is there are two reports that go hand in hand with the new CRM, and you're able to access those right over here on your left-hand side, and that's under your reports. So you have your user activity in your lead funnel. Lead funnel is going to show you exactly what's going on with your leads during a certain time frame that it defaults to 7 days, but we could always change that easily in the right-hand corner, and user activity defaults to 7 days as well. Basically on this, it's going to show us exactly how many leads you've had, how many have contacted, scheduled, attended, purchased, and even lost. So this is where we're able to see and track those reasons for loss as we're working those leads through our CRM. And we can see how many are not contacted. So an easy way to think of it is if it's a little triangle here. So you had 9,532 leads and 6,200 of them have been contacted. But these are the ones down here that have not been contacted. So you're able to click on the hyperlink. It'll go directly to those profiles. And same thing between contact and scheduled. These are your not scheduled patients. You're not attended, which is probably just meaning that they have a future appointment past this date range. You're attended to purchased. You have your not purchased patients down there in this bottom funnel, and then your reasons for loss. In your reasons for loss, it's really neat that you could actually drill through this now. So if you select a reason for loss, we're going to just select other, for example, and we scroll down here, you can see that it's highlighted this little sliver in each of these lead state by dates. If you click on that little sliver here, you can view details based on who was deleted due to other. And so you can see all of these potential patients were deleted due to the other state. And you'd be able to do that for any of your reasons for loss, your lead state by date. You're able to see just a quick breakdown of how many leads were scheduled, purchased, lost, created, contacted, and attended. On a daily basis, you can change this weekly, monthly, however you wish. And it's the same thing. You can easily drill through by clicking on the coordinating color that you would like to see and hit view details. You can see your lead state by category over here by campaign. You're also able to, and of course I clicked the wrong button. You're able to break that down from campaign to, I believe, locations, providers. There's several different metrics here that you would be able to select. And then you even have, what's really neat now is you have this bubble and heat map. So this is basically telling us where our leads are coming from, especially if we are doing paid advertisement. Your ads manager is able to pinpoint and target certain areas that maybe you're not getting as many leads from. So as you scroll in, we're just going to look at this one, for example. We can see that, oh, where did he go? Here we go. We've had 27 leads from the Los Angeles County that are created. 106 leads from that county have actually scheduled. And you could even break it down over here by state and see exactly what counties are producing your leads, as well as you can go through and see how many scheduled, attended, purchased items, as well as you can see their billing and their payments as well based off of county. Heat map is very similar. It just has a little, it doesn't break it down by lead states like the other map does. It just kind of lets you know if it's a more targeted area.
Thank you, Ashley. On that quick question in the reports, we got a couple of thumbs up on that report, so I think people are liking that. The question would be whether or not they can export lead detail. And the answer is yes, but I'll let Ashley just show you an example of where to find the three little dots that sometimes elude you at first.
Absolutely. So once you click on it and you go to your view detail, there is these three little dots right here on the top hand corner for more options. And you have your export data box right here. So any of the reporting sections that you do export, and same with your leads, for example. Let me just show you real fast what that would look like. If you're doing a search versus leads or patients, you would be able to do the same thing and export right here based on your filters that you set.
Great, thank you. I think I can probably answer the next question we've gotten is like, why do some reports take longer to load than others? Definitely a good question, and it can definitely take a little bit. It really depends on the size of your practice because that usually dictates how much data the system needs to sort of churn. So while you may have a single location, single provider practice, your reports are probably fairly zippy. If you are a practice that is with this that has the 38, 48, and 58 locations, and you're pulling a full year of data as an example, it might take it a little while to load. So you should be getting an indicator. So if you see a blank report, please do just pause and give it a few seconds and it will load for you. And we're always looking to optimize report speed. It's definitely one of our focuses as our clients are always growing, and that is a really great thing. But that would be the major reason. Usually if it's not your own just streaming or what I would say Wi-Fi speed based on where you might be located if you're traveling or jumping off of a hotspot, it's typically just the date range or the size of the report that you're trying to pull. All right, thanks. Sorry to interrupt, Ashley. I'll let you go ahead.
So then the next report here is going to be your user activity. So this is going to break down our leads for us, let us know who's doing what. Are we optimizing our system to its fullest potential based on our integrations? So as you can see here, again, it defaults to 7 days, but you could always change your date range right up here in this top right-hand corner. But you can see how many leads have come in and have been managed during that time frame. Fully interactive here as well. If you click on somebody in your practice, just to filter down the targets, you'll see that everything in regard to this report will change. I clicked on Miss Jenny here. She is a Red Spot employee. But I can see how many phone leads she's created, how many web leads she has contacted, follow-up activities. So these are the manual follow-ups that she's setting for specific dates and times. If she was sending text messages or emails through the system, those would all be recorded here as well, as you can see with some of the other numbers here. You can see people are sending text messages, they're sending emails. This person right here did 512 text messages just this week alone. So this is the easiest way to determine if your team is optimizing your integrations. As you scroll down, if you have somebody selected, since I saw Miss Jenny selected here, I can see the lead detail. So this is going to let us know every lead that she has touched or made a change to. So I can see the activity of changing the status or leaving a voicemail, setting a manual follow-up, what activity point it's on, who the activity was for, and the hyperlink to that lead. But it gives us full transparency in regards to that lead, when it's supposed to come back. We also have a trends graph here, so you can see your most popular days, or your busiest days, I should say. Obviously, it looks like Mondays are Miss Jenny's busiest day. She handles generally on average 72 leads on a Monday, you're able to also see average touch points based on lead conversion. So how many times do you have to reach out to a patient to go ahead and get them converted? Your conversions percentages over here. Same with your phone activity. So if we are integrated, oh, I unclicked Miss Jenny. Let me go back to Miss Jenny so I could show the phone. If we are connected to your VoIP system, we're able to see your phone activity. So how many calls you've taken specifically, on average, how long is your conversation, what's your answer rate, how many missed calls have you had, and then you're able to see your phone activity by campaign. So which campaigns are producing more phone calls versus web leads. So you're able to see that type of transparency here as well.
Thanks. I'll make a quick comment on this one based on some of the questions that were similar that came in. If you'll go back down to that call activity, at this time it's only logging your outbound call activity, but a new feature that you can be on the lookout for in the second half of this year is actually presenting to you the outbound call activity. So if you just want to see a quick glance of how many calls is your team making outbound, you'd also be able to start to see that here. So just be on the lookout for that in the second half of that year. Uh, Ashley, one other question that you might be able to demonstrate for us, if you don't mind going back to that test lead, I'll answer the question and maybe you can demonstrate it. But the question was, why are my leads still marked not contacted after I sent them an email? So first I'll answer that and then Ashley can demonstrate what you would want to do to move a lead manually to a contacted stage. So our system does not update a lead to being contacted based on a outbound action of making a phone call or sending an email, as these are still seen as attempts to contact. They will automatically be updated, of course, if they are scheduled. They will be updated to a status of dead lead, as Ashley said, if they were manually moved to dead lead or if they went through all of your required touch points without contact. If you speak with an individual, the system will want you to let us know or let the system know what the status was of that call. Maybe you spoke to them and they're no longer interested in that procedure. They would become a dead lead and you can make a note as to the reason. But if you leave a call, you can state that you maybe left a voicemail, which would have this lead remain and not contacted. So just wanted to explain that. And a contact attempt will not update a lead to a contacted state. Okay. Only manually moving it to contacted, moving them into a dead lead, which can be automated, or moving them into schedule, which is an automated status update for you. All of those happen automatically. But if you speak to someone, they decide they do not want to move forward with you, you can manually then move them into maybe they say, I want you to follow up with me in a month. So you don't want to move them to dead lead. You're just going to leave them in contacted. And then the best practice we recommend is then you would set a follow-up for when they would like to be contacted again. So Ashley, I think, is showing you on the screen right here how you can move them to contacted, and then you could set a follow-up appointment if that is what's necessary. Or again, if you spoke with them and it's not a good fit at this time, you can move them into a dead lead status. All right. Thanks, Ashley.
Of course. Is there any other questions in regards to those two reports?
I don't see any at this time. Thanks.
All right. One other item to notice down here, let me just back out of this, is you have your feedback and support. So you used to have that submit a request button up here on the top right-hand corner. It is now down here in the bottom left. Once you select it, you do have three options now. So you can report a bug and let us know exactly what's broken or what's not functioning properly. The neat thing about this now is you're able to take screenshots or screen recording of what exactly is going on. So that way it provides Red Spot more details in regards to looking into this bug. Just let us know the bug in detail and what the expected outcome you believe should be. And then our team will go ahead and respond accordingly. You also have a new feature request. So if there's an item in here that we do not have that you think would be a good improvement to our system, please let us know. We are always adding new features to our CRM and to our platform in general. So any feedback is great feedback. We can't guarantee that it'll be done right away, but it will definitely go in front of our development team and go on that enhancement board to see what we should start moving forward with um, sooner than later. And then you do
Great.
have your customer support button. This does take you back to what that old screen looks like here from your submit a request, where you're able to select your nature of request, your subject, upload a file. One thing here, if you are uploading more than one file, when you go to upload files, just make sure you hit your control button and you can add more than one item. If not, you select one image and then you go back and you try to upload another file, it'll overwrite it. Just hold that control button and add as many files as you need to upload those images for us. Any other questions, concerns, anything you want me to go back over in a little bit more detail?
It looks like you have addressed all of the questions, Ashley, so thank you very much. Everyone who attended today, we really appreciate it. We will send out a recording to our attendees. We certainly hope you found this helpful. Remember that you can, as Ashley has demonstrated, always submit a request if you have any more questions or if you ever need our support. And this will be a recurring full training on the CRM that we'll be happy to have any of your offices attend as needed, so please don't hesitate to register for any of the training courses in the future. Thanks again, everyone. We really appreciate you attending today.